Cessna over the threshold, coming up on the white dot, outer beyond the white dot, left turn first available. I got a high wind coming up on about a half-mile final, clear to land, outer beyond. Traffic on the left face, you're following a Cessna down, low off your left. Square it up just a little bit, and then we're going to get you in. Start your descent, though. Start your descent on the base. Traffic on final, give me follow on base. Base traffic, start turning toward the numbers now. High wing coming up on quarter-mile final, take it all the way down to the green. Cessna taxiing on the green, expedite down to the next hard surface. Get me some speed, there you go, go fast. This is going to be good. I got traffic on a mile final. You're following traffic ahead and to your right. High wing coming up on the threshold. Take it all the way down to the green dot.
5 Charlie Sierra, 2 mile final.
A mile final, turn north, and we're going to just make you, we're going to bring you back around. Jet traffic's coming up on about a mile and a half final, runway 9er clear to land.
Okay, all right, let's listen up, guys. If you're on final for runway 9, I want you to offset to the left. I got a jet that's landing on runway 9. The jet's cleared to land runway 9 if you can make it. If not, just continue straight ahead. It looks like you're going around for the jet. That's fine.
Oh, we have one right in front of us, sir.
Dragger. Let's see. What we got? A tricycle. Tricycle, put it down. Tricycle, put it down. Tricycle, put it down. Tail dragger. Down to the green dot, then a left turn. Short final here. You cleared land on 9 all the way to the white dot. Go down to the white dot. Find somebody to follow out here. Kennard, just come to the runway, and I might have to just send you around. That'll be fine. And for the jet, you just want to stay in this pattern, or you want to go back out for an instrument approach?
Stay in a pattern, Charlie Sierra.
All right, just stay with me here for a minute. And my tail dragger, let's see, over the numbers, go down to the green. And Kennard's going to have to go around. Kennard, go around. And my high wing here over the runway, keep it airborne. You do not descend. You got a fast guy behind you. Do not descend. There you go. Keep it airborne. As soon as the guy behind you gets slowed down, I'm going to put you down. So keep it airborne. The one that just passed the white dot, make a left turn on the hard surface. All right, my high wing tail dragger, you can put it down now. And Charlie Sierra, let me get you about a mile off. Let's see, Charlie Sierra, I lost. There you are. Make a left-hand turn. I'll try to resequence you here on the down ones. We'll see how it looks. Short final, you're cleared land.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be chit-chatting with you.
I'm going to check out first a little bit of footage.
I'm sure that's plenty of room for you to land on runway 9. You're clear to land on runway 9. Number 2, you're going to go down to the white dot. Follow the white dot. Actually, you know what? That's 1,500 feet. You're going to land at the white dot. The spacing looks adequate here. 2 guys on final. You're kind of tight there. Keep each other in sight, and you're going to aim for the white dot. If it's not going to work, we'll come up with a plan B. We might have to send you around. The second guy behind you out there in about a 2-mile final. Are you slow enough to be able to follow that guy in front of you? You need to go around. Well, I probably shouldn't ask that because I had about 5 guys answer me, so I should know better than that. After 35 years, you would think, right? All right, so let me see. The guy who's number 1, it's number 1. What kind of airplane is he? An RV type. All right, RV type. Keep it airborne for me. Keep it airborne. And I got a fast guy behind you. The number 2 guy over the trees there. Go ahead and put it down on the numbers. My first guy just coming up on the numbers at the over the grass at the numbers. I want you to keep it.
T-minus 1 minute and counting.
Hello.
Four, three, two, one.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you all doing? We are very, very pleased to have you here on this April Fool's Day. and also at the beginning of a fantastic 4-day weekend where undoubtedly the weather's going to be just stunning all 4 days, so we can fill our boots with as much flying as we possibly can. We'll have Simon along in a second just to confirm that it's here live. Then we're going to move on to news. You got your chance in news to have a little chat about the future of this very live stream, and then we've got a super guest I'm picking, who is the youngest and newest Spitfire pilot, we think probably in the galaxy, but certainly in the UK. And what else have we got? Fantasy Hangar and all sorts of other bits and pieces. And actually, we got an exclusive for you. We got the world's first television commercial, or video commercial, I guess, maybe not TV, for a flying car. Yep, you can see it here tonight first. So it's time now. I think we're going to head over to Simon for the weather. So here we go.
Well, evening, everybody. Hope you're getting ready for a wonderful bank holiday weekend of flying, because actually, you know what? It's not looking bad at all. Now, I've gone a bit nerdy with the charts tonight, so you're going to have to bear with me. I'm going to be as quick as I possibly can, but I've got a forecast for the whole of the weekend coming up for you. But, of course, not everybody can fly yet. So for those of us who are waiting until Monday, the 12th of April to get airborne, this is the forecast chart for then. Now, of course, this can change. It's a long way away. Lots can happen. But at the moment, what it's looking like is high pressure down towards the south of the country, low pressure off towards the west, a southwesterly flow, some low cloud affecting western and southern coasts. Could be some drizzle around, but away from those western and southern coasts, looking drier, looking brighter, possibly looking flyable, bases about 3,000 feet through central and eastern areas, and with a moderate southwesterly wind. So actually, you'd probably give it a 6 or a 7 out of 10 at the moment. Of course, though, things changing all the time. I'll keep you updated on that. Now, what I've got here, forecast chart for you for tomorrow. I've also put the forecast cloud on here as well in the right-hand corner there. Now, on these charts, black is clear skies, white is cloud. And what you can see there is most of the skies across the UK clear tomorrow. Just some low cloud drifting down eastern coasts of the country from time to time. But generally, for most of us, it's a cloud-free sort of day. And if we do get any bases, they're about 4,000 feet tops, about 6,000 feet. Good VFR conditions, just a little bit breezy across the far south of England, but northeasterlies probably at around 15 to 18 knots. So nothing particularly untoward. That's Saturday. High pressure still in control, and you can see very little cloud around. So actually, it still looks pretty darn good through Saturday. I think flyable all the way. We're looking at north to northwesterly winds around about the 8 to 12 knot mark. Good visibility, high bases, 4,000 feet, and the tops on those probably about 6,000 feet as well. Now, it couldn't continue quite all weekend, could it? This is the forecast chart for Easter Sunday. England and Wales are going to be okay. I think flyable here, probably looking at bases about 3,000 feet tops, up at about 8,000 feet. Good spells of sunshine around. You see just some broken cloud there on the forecast cloud chart. But look at the cold front north of Scotland. That's coming southwards. It's going to be bringing rain with it. But also behind that is much, much colder weather. Windy weather ahead of that as well. But it's not going to be affecting many of us through Easter Sunday. But across central and northern Scotland, you will notice things decrease and deteriorate through the day. Cloud bases decreasing to around 1,500 to 1,800 feet, and freezing levels across Scotland starting to lower dramatically on the Easter Sunday afternoon. Now, just to emphasize that to you, this is the cloud ceiling forecast. Basically, on these charts, the yellow and orange colors mean don't fly. Green means bases above about 1,500 feet. White is where there's no worries. We've got bases above 3,000 feet. You see that poorer weather just coming into the north of Scotland then late on Easter Sunday. But by Easter Monday, that cold front has cleared its way southwards. The flow gets into the north of the northwest. Notice the isobars close together, so it's a breezy day for holiday Monday. Northwesterlies probably blowing at around 20 to 25 knots for many of us. Could be gusting up to 30, 35 knots around western, northern and eastern coasts. We've got showers across the west, the north and the east. Watch for increasing risk of some pretty big Qs and QNIMs around the coast as well. Inland areas faring better, 1 or 2 showers around. I think bases typically 2,500 to 3,000 feet tops, could be at 15 to 20,000 feet in the showers, but away from the showers tops are about 10,000 feet, and good visibility actually in between the showers. It's just one of those, I'm not sure that you really want to be going that far on. Eastern coast always seeing most of the showers. And just to reiterate, that is the cloud ceiling forecast for Monday. You see, actually, it's fairly broken. Some white areas in there showing some reasonable flying conditions, but you just see there around the coast, particularly those yellows and ambers and reds indicating non-VFR conditions. So a big change actually as we go through the weekend. Friday and Saturday looking the better of the days. Sunday good for England and Wales, and then I think probably a bit of a deterioration for most of us through holiday Monday. And watch those freezing levels on Monday as well. Now, if you want to be able to learn about forecasting yourself and be able to plan your weather windows 5 days in advance, then you need to get yourself along to Aviation Weather School. I've got my next school with places available on the 15th and 22nd of May. That's the mornings of the 15th and 22nd of May between 09:30 and 12:30 hours. Get a weatherschool.co.uk to find out more and book your place now. Have a great Easter weekend, won't you all? Enjoy your flying. And of course, I'll keep you updated with the latest forecast on Monday. Okay, there you go. Enjoy.
Thank you very much, Simon. How are you? That was a half decent forecast, wasn't it? And that was almost a slick transition there. Whoa! Oh, what happened there? Yeah, no, it's not that we're not polished or anything, you know. Okay, so thanks very much for Hyman. I guess kind of seems like a decent weekend. Should get a bunch of flying in, shouldn't we? Anyone been flying yet already?
Oh, I guess we'll find out in the news.
In the news, yeah. In that case, let's move to the news. Ed.
So it's the Monday was the big return to flying, and obviously the forecast had been better than Simon had predicted. So tell us in the comments if you managed to get flying. I managed to fly yesterday. It was all going well. Everything was great. I was a little bit high on approach, and I went to side slip, and completely forgot how to side slip momentarily. So it was like I was fighting a snake in the cockpit. So I'm sure if anyone was watching, they're going, "It's the editor of Flyer about to make a smoking hole." Actually, no, it was all fine. But yes, so the aeroplane's still usable. But obviously, we're now flying. It's the evenings, and which has got us thinking about the live stream. What sort of time do you want to see the live stream? And I know Ian's got some thoughts on this.
Yeah, so basically, a few people have asked this. I mean, clearly the weather's getting better, the days are getting longer, it's getting warmer, and so we're kind of wondering whether 7:30 of a Thursday evening is the ideal time. Interestingly, we've now got something like over the space of the first week during the live stream and over the week following the live stream, we've now got something like 4 times the amount of viewers that we had at the very beginning when we started. So that's great. And there's an increasing number of people watching it afterwards. So to a certain extent, I'm not sure how important it is, what time it is, but clearly it's great to have you here live, and it's great to have the interaction as well, which is a key part of the stream. So put in the comments what you think, whether you think, 7:30, we should just go with 7:30, whether we should push it a bit later until 8 or something. We can't push it too late because, we've all got bedtimes to get to and stuff like that, clearly. And the other thing is, some of you would have noticed on Facebook, over the last couple of weeks, we had some issues with Facebook. We haven't actually managed to track down those issues yet, which is a little bit frustrating. And so we're wondering whether we might just sideline Facebook and move to YouTube only, which would certainly make it easier for the comments and the interaction as well. So give us your thoughts on that. If you're like an ardent Facebook user and you would steadfastly refuse to come over to YouTube, then let us know. And if there's enough of you, we'll probably think twice about that. But anyway, let us know. That's about all I've got to say. But engage. It's your show, so they say.
Yeah.
Give us that one. So what else have we got in the news, Dave?
Well, this is a bit of good news actually. The RAF has decided to reduce the size of the temporary danger areas (TDAs) that it had applied for, or is talking about applying for, this summer. It's got this big Sky Guardian drone coming over, and it wants to do some demonstrations and tests. Anyway, they've consulted with local airfields, they've consulted with local stakeholders as they're known, and they've also evaluated the tests that they want to do. and they've been able to shrink the size of the TDAs. This is how to run a consultation. This is how, how it should be done, and they've listened to people and they've done it right. So that's a good thing. A less good thing is, we all these TDAs, these drone TDAs that are springing up. We put some thought into it in the office. You can imagine how we do it, and we put some thought into it in the office, and we've come up with a plan, a cunning plan. So here it is. The CAA has already published its roadmap for integrating drones and unmanned aerial vehicles into airspace, and literally it's a long and winding road. And right at the moment, we're just about the first stage. So it's a long way to go, it looks. So we're currently in the sandbox stage where drone companies can apply for TDAs to test their products, apply for all sorts of grants under notions like helping the NHS, but generally creating havoc and stress for general aviation. So we're not talking about the RAF here. They've done it right. What we do think, though, there's not a great deal of leadership being shown by the CAA here. They seem to be content for companies to thrash about in the sandbox. So we've stepped in and we've come up with this plan, which is a win-win for everybody. We think we should designate Clanbedra, is that right?
So close.
Clanbedra Airfield as the UK's live drone test site for 6 months. Let the drone companies run all their trials, working around the general aviation activities. They can perfect the detect and avoid systems that the CAA seem to think is the secret ingredient that needs to be right for integration into main airspace. And once they've perfected it, they can certify it, and it's all good. Why Clanbedra? Or Snowdonia Aerospace Centre, as it's also known. There's already lots of drone activities there. They've applied for a permanent danger area, which they can switch on and switch off when they want to. So it's all set up. I mean, it's a no-brainer. I think, come on, CAA tiny regulators. What do you think?
Let me ask them. Hang on.
They're very quiet on the subject.
They're very quiet on the subject.
In fact, they're very quiet on a lot of subjects. We have yet again asked them to come along and be met. Come and have a chat with us and be on the live stream. I have actually had a positive response from someone in the CAA that we will have a CAA person coming along, and we just haven't tied down an exact date yet. So fingers crossed that it's going to happen. They seem to be up for it, as it were. So let's see. Sorry, Dave, I interrupted you with the little regulators there.
Yes, I think we finished that item. Probably time to move on to Johnny.
Yeah, before we get to Johnny, I just want to say that I don't have a problem with the sandbox phase, but at the moment it seems that the sandpit is like the whole country. We don't need a sandbox that's as big as the United Kingdom.
Yeah.
I think in France they've designated an area around Pontoise. They basically said, right, come and test your drone technology here. And the other thing that occurred to me is if the RAF want to do some demonstrations with their new big drone, surely the ideal place would be Goodwood during the Festival of Speed or something, wouldn't it? We don't do that.
Someone's made a good point. Clanbedra is a good idea, but all the test staff, they'd have to leave London and the southeast.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh no, that's Peter. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And also, they probably wouldn't get any grants from the NHS.
Controversial.
Right, let's have a straight news story.
Yeah, I've got I've got a gassy islander to talk about.
Yeah.
So this is the 9-passenger all-electric islander that was being developed by the Project Fressen consortium. They've changed it completely, and they're now shifting to a hydrogen fuel cell. So they're aiming to deliver
Johnny,
an emission.
Hang on a second, Johnny. Is this a real story or is this an April Fool's story?
No, this is real.
With that colour scheme, surely not.
Honestly?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'll let you get back to it.
Yes, it gets better. So they're going to try and deliver this emission-free powered flying demonstrator by September 22. And look at those great big things under the wings. They are called shifts, which stands for Scottish Hydrogen Fuel Tanks. And there's 2 of them, and they're very big and they look quite draggy. And they've determined that hydrogen is the optimum solution to meet their needs. So it's yet another islander that's had something slammed onto the front or to the side. So,
wow,
yeah.
Why can't they put the hydrogen in the islanders' fuel tanks?
I thought you were going to say in the cabin then. No smoking, please.
Anyway,
That's a good question, Dave. I don't know.
Isn't it under like massive pressure or something so that it remains liquid?
Yeah, I think if you obviously this is a real news story, and if you look at some of the photos of those big tanks, the big carbon reinforced tanks, I guess to take this hydrogen under great pressure. So yeah,
wow,
yeah,
okay.
There we go. It must be me next for news, is it?
It's you next.
It's me next. So Daya Aviation, who back in 2019 bought the Kodiak from Quest Aircraft, they've just announced a Series 3 version of this. Now, the Series 3 brings larger tyres, that's 29 inches, a standard thing, higher landing weight at 7,255 pounds, and a lower zero fuel weight that allows more payload. You can also have an executive cabin, so that makes the Kodiak perfect for those executives who need to fly directly and comfortably to their backcountry retreat. But apart from that, I'm going, yeah, why have they done this? But anyway, it's Daya have got the whole spread of turbine covered. They've got really fast with the TBM 940, or are we up to 50 now?
940.
940 with which is fast and has auto land, and obviously they've got the Kodiak in the stable too. So yes, so new Kodiak if you're in the market. I haven't got a price.
Go flight test to Kodiak, flight test to Caravan, and have it decide which one you're going to buy.
Yeah.
Which I guess falls to me to have a little chat about the University Drone Symposium webinar that we attended the other week. Was it this week? I can't remember.
It was a week ago, wasn't it?
A week ago, yeah. It was basically an hour and a half with the University of Southampton and a few other universities, kind of chatted through drones and how they thought the future would go, and particularly they had a proposal which they really wanted to put to the stakeholders, as it were. There's a lot of I think there's a lot of incentive for people to talk to stakeholders at the moment. So after Skyport's got it badly wrong up in Scotland, everyone seems quite keen to get it right a bit further down. But I'm not entirely sure I'd call it getting it right, to be honest. But we'll come to that in a minute. So they came up with this idea. Their concept of really doing away with TDAs, temporary danger areas, was to replace them with something called Class Lima airspace, because we all need another class of airspace, don't we? Clearly. And Class Lima appears to be, as far as I can see, a TMZ, but a transponder mandatory zone. So you have a TMZ in Class Lima, but it's not got any controlling authority, so you can't get any exceptions to it. So it would be a permanent TMZ. I have to say, this kind of went down with the audience a little bit like a lead balloon, and it was just a little bit like a racing drone at Goodwood, I should say.
Yeah.
Well done, CA. Good work. I think there was a fair bit of pushback, and there's a few. The interesting thing during this, there's kind of few names appearing in the comments, and you kind of bit of googling, bit of LinkedIn. People weren't being completely open with where they were coming from, so there was a few comments saying, "We think this is a great idea." Oh, but you work for a drone company. Okay. So that was kind of interesting. And the other thing that I think really frustrates me, and I'm not at all heartless, and I'm not. I don't want to sound too nasty here, but it seems that every drone TDA has to come with, we've got to get this, we've got the COVID test that we've got to get to somewhere here. We've got to get this because we've got the chemo drugs that we get to here. We can't do it without because of, that's rubbish. Stop with your emotional blackmail stuff. You can do it. You know you can do it. Jump on a motorbike, get on a hovercraft. The one down in Solent was, oh no, we can't use the ferry anymore. But it didn't mention the hovercraft. Come on. Who do you think we are? Stupid? So just enough with that stuff. Go and play in your sandbox. Make the sandbox somewhere like Llambeda or something like that. But don't just come up with your ridiculous excuses. And if you're going to have a consultation, if you're going to have a webinar, make it completely transparent, please. So who's who and where are they coming from? There you go.
I quite fancy flying north to south across London. So I'm thinking of applying for a TDA so that I can take some paracetamol from Redhill to Cambridge.
Don't mock headaches. They're serious. You know?
Yes.
Excellent. Well, what have we got next? Oh, Dave, I think you to tell us about
Lilium.
money, huge pots of gold, bigger pots of gold than there are in the drone world. Well, I suppose this is a kind of drone-ish world, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, Lilium is a German company that's is developing an electric vertical takeoff and landing air taxi, and they've just announced two things. They've just announced this, which is a 7-seater version, and apparently they've been working on it in stealth mode for a couple of years. Anyway, it's now there. The other thing that goes hand in hand with this is a deal with a company called Quell Acquisition Group Corp to raise funds, and they're going to be listing on the Nasdaq exchange in New York, and the total company is valued at an incredible 3.3 billion. I mean, this is a company, Lilium, which is yet to actually make a product to sell, but the whole thing with Quell is going to be valued at 3.3 billion, and the total gross proceeds to Lilium itself will be about 830 million. This is dollars. I mean, crikey, that's some serious money going on there. It's a little bit different from Project Freshen, which I think is working on 9 million quid of government money at the moment.
Yeah.
Is this starting to feel a little bit like the old .com bubble again, do you think?
Yes, it does feel a bit like that, doesn't it? Yeah.
I mean, if Lilium decide they want to advertise and we could help them with that, then, you know, we probably wouldn't call it a .com bubble. We'd call it a great investment into future transport of technology.
Interestingly, Uber, who started it all, has decided to get out of that particular bit of the business and sold it off to somebody else.
Yeah. Well, because Joby recently listed or something, didn't they? And they ended up with huge amounts of money as well.
Yeah, they've got a massive investment from Toyota, didn't they? So.
Yeah.
Talking about huge amounts of money, Johnny, the Aeromobile.
Yeah, so hands up if you've ever wanted a flying car.
No.
Anyone?
Silence.
So this is the Aeromobile, which can seamlessly transform from car to aircraft. That's driving to flying in under 3 minutes, apparently. And they've released their first commercial. So here it is.
To be or not to be is no longer the question. I am real. I am the Aeromobile. I am a new form of being. My DNA is the amalgamation of aeronautics and automobile. I was born 10 years ago and nurtured for over 300,000 hours of engineering, design, and testing. I'll give you the freedom to go anywhere you want, whenever you want.
Aeromobile, the incredible flying car, an unbelievable creation.
Imagine what we can experience together. Aeromobile. Be the experience.
I think the great thing about things like this is it brings massive potential for new pre-flight problems. It's like, and we're mostly used to, it's like, this is broken off in my hand, but I can see it. The potential is that you go, it just won't unfold.
If you park where you shouldn't park and a parking warden comes along, traffic or whatever they're called, and wants to put a sticker on, can you say, I'm afraid it's against the ANO to interfere with an aircraft? Don't put
Probably. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay, so after watching that commercial, the first flying car commercial I've ever seen, hands up who now wants a flying car.
Tumbleweed.
Oh dear, not quite the same then, is it? In that case, we should probably move on to Virgins.
Virgins, yes. This is. We did have to check that this wasn't an April Fool, actually, because this is Virgin announcing their new spaceship. This is the third generation one. It's called VSS Imagine. It's very highly polished, very bright, and this is going to be this is the one that's going to actually take people into space. So they hope. It's what can I say about it? They plan to fly 400 flights per year per spaceport. To start, this particular one will make its first move in May. They're going to do ground tests first, followed by glide tests. And Richard Branson, who's the founder of the company, said a Spaceship 3 class of vehicle, imagine, is not just beautiful to look at, but represents Virgin Galactic's growing fleet of spaceships. So there we have it.
It's covered in a lot of tinfoil.
Yes.
Yes. It's amazing to think, isn't it? Was it the X Prize that this all grew from, which was the first? It was to put a civilian into space and then basically have a reusable vehicle in X number of days. Was that back in 2003?
I don't know. I wasn't born then. It's a long time ago.
No, I definitely wasn't.
Yeah, John, it's probably. But I'm just thinking, we're coming up on nearly 20 years, I think, since Rutan first, because it's the Virgin project uses basically a scaled up version of the Rutan project that won the X Prize. So it's just amazing, isn't it, how much time this stuff takes.
Great documentary. I think it's called Black Sky or something.
Yeah.
If you get a chance to watch that, I'm not quite sure whether you can dig it out from any of the streaming services, but I thought that was a fantastic documentary. Real kind of good stuff, as it were.
Fantastic.
There you go. So
a bit more back to earth. I know we've got no photo for this, and it's some news we just heard today. But Jeff Bell, who's the amazing airfield manager at Sywell Aerodrome, we've heard that Jeff is leaving. So really sad news. Jeff is a true enthusiast. He's worked tirelessly to through the years to make Sywell a great destination and facilitate loads of fantastic fly-ins, including the LAA rally. We're just really sorry to hear that he's leaving. That's a real loss for Sywell. To quote Paul Cadell, who posted about it on Facebook earlier, Jeff's a great airfield manager and a genuinely top bloke. Jeff, we wish you well.
Any airfield that finds people for wearing a yellow jacket is okay in my books. So, spread that policy elsewhere, wherever you end up, Jeff. That would be great. Just a quick bit of news from Garmin. Garmin have released a new version of Garmin Pilot for Europe, and it has the, what are they calling it? VFR briefing pack. So basically VFR briefing packs that collate airspace users, NOTAM, weather, and everything else in PDF form that you can print out, should you wish to. I haven't had a chance to fly with it yet. I may get a chance to fly with it over the weekend and have a look at it. And so I'll report back on that if I do. Johnny, have you got some stuff to tell us about some upcoming things?
Yeah, so next Friday, Nigel Webb is going to be holding an exclusive webinar on the topic of airframe icing. It's exclusive to club members, so look out for the email next week with the link to watch it. And we've also just published a new airfield briefing video on YouTube for Clanbedder. So head over to there when you finish watching this, check it out. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe to the Flyer channel. And of course, start making use of your free landing vouchers. And I think now it's probably time for the Right Stuff quiz.
Hello and welcome to our special guest, Michael Pickin. Hello, Michael. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me okay?
Yes. All right. Yeah, we can hear you now.
Can you hear okay?
Perfect. Can you hear me?
Very good. Yes, I can.
Good. Okay. Hi, Michael. So, well, joining us tonight is Michael Pickin, as well as being the youngest ever British Advanced National Aerobatic Champion. And I think you're currently the youngest unlimited level aerobatic pilot in Europe. Michael has just become the youngest, newest Spitfire pilot, having soloed with Aero Legends this week. So before we get you on to interview with Johnny, it's my turn to give you the Flyer Right Stuff quiz. So Ian's in the background with the timer and the marking sheet. Are you ready for your questions?
Yes, I'm ready.
Excellent. Ready. Here we go then. Paper chart or tablet?
Tablet.
North up or track up?
North up.
Youngman or Cap 232?
Human.
Go through or around controlled airspace.
Through. Legally.
Grass or hard.
Grass.
Boeing 757 or 767.
767.
Ooh. High wing or low wing.
Low wing.
Lomchavac or tail slide.
Lomchavac.
Okay. And side by side or tandem.
Tandem.
Tandem. Ian, how did Michael do?
Michael, regular viewers will know that Michael didn't score full marks, just for one minor aberration in his way. So Michael got pretty much full marks, so 90 out of 100. Michael, just need to go with the track up thing. But okay, that's a personal hobby horse of mine. I do understand that there are some people left who still fly Norfolk. That's okay. It's like telemark skiing and Morris dancing. That's fine.
That's okay.
Great. Right. Thank you, guys. So, Michael, thank you for joining us at such short notice. Now, we couldn't let this opportunity pass talking to you. So, first of all, just tell us a bit about how you got into flying.
So I got into flying. I was very lucky. My dad was flying when I was a kid. So I spent most of my youth around Headcorn Airfield in Kent. And the Tiger Club were there at the time. So I joined the Tiger Club and just kept going really, getting airplanes for rides and never turning down an opportunity to go flying. And it kind of went from there really. Got my PPL and kept going. Aerobatics was a thing. My dad was into aerobatics. So, some people go down cross countries, navigating, gliding. And for me, it was aerobatics. So that's how that all started.
Great. So just talk us through your PPL, because you didn't do it on the usual Cessna or Piper, did you?
No, I didn't. So my dad had a Booker Jungmann, well, he still does. And when I was growing up, we kind of looked into learning to fly. And I wrote the CAA a letter and said, would it be possible to do a PPL on Jungmann? And the answer came back as yes. So that's kind of how that started. Obviously, bits of navigation were done in Robbins and more modern things like that. But the majority of it, first solo, qualifying cross country, was all in a Booker Jungmann. So it was good.
Great. So were there any particular challenges with doing the PPL on the Jungmann?
I think, in all honesty, it was not, that was normal to me. It was weird. Most pilots, I suppose, would fly a nose wheel, then they transition to a tail wheel. But for me, it's all I knew was tail wheels and kind of vintage stuff. So I was lucky in that sense. So it was almost felt like more challenging than to go to a nose wheel, in that it was different. So, but challenges, I mean, trying to convince a controller that needed a swing on a cross country was quite tricky, I guess, because people didn't understand.
Yeah, so just talk us through where you took your flying after the PPL, because you went commercial, didn't you?
Yes, I did. So I always wanted to be in the RAF, to be honest, but I couldn't get in. I had asthma when I was younger, basically, and so I kind of thought, well, how can I, make a career out of this? And commercial just seemed like a good way to go, really. So I took some time out, and I got an aerobatic scholarship from at the time was the British Aerobatic Foundation. So I spent a couple of years doing competitions and air shows and kind of working out how I would become a commercial pilot, which then led me into a modular route because I had some experience beforehand. So integrated didn't really fit the bill as such. So yeah, I did that, worked part-time, and then did ground school and carried on. And then, lucky enough to still be, I'd say, an active commercial pilot, but there isn't much at the moment. So doing bits.
Yeah. So also just talk us through your first aerobatic competition win and how old you were?
Yeah, so I won my first aerobatic competition at 14 years old, which you can't have a license. But so how that came around was, again, at the Tiger Club, they got a Cap 10C about that time when I was maybe 12 or 13, and I was doing bits of flying in it, and someone just said to me, "Why don't you enter the competition?" They had some local competitions they called Dick Bentley's, and I said, "Well, I'm not allowed." So what happened was that the chief pilot came along as a safety pilot to make it legal, no radio or anything, and I did everything, and lucky enough to have won.
That's brilliant. And now just talk us about how you got into vintage aircraft flying. Is there a usual route in terms of the types of aircraft that you step up through?
Yeah, so I suppose there is, and today it's much like what it was in, late 1930s and 40s. Obviously, I'd had some experience in biplanes, doing my PPLO on a Human, and Aero Legends started up at Headcorn, and they had Tiger Moths and Harvard at the time, and they were rebuilding a Spitfire. So I started flying Tiger Moths for them based on my kind of Jungmann experience. And then after some time, I went into the Harvard, got some experience on that, instructing on that. And then I progressed this week to the Spitfire. So it really was kind of how it was done back then, really.
Yeah. So just talk us through the transition to the Spitfire. Did you do dual flying beforehand, or was it all Harvard and then you just went straight into the Spit?
Yes. So I've been flying the Harvard for a few years now, and Charlie Brown is head of training at Air Legends, and his kind of mantra on it is rear seats Harvard is a very similar picture in terms of looking out of the front and having a lot of aircraft in front of you, and the visibility, the cues are very similar to a Spitfire. Mm-hmm. So I had my rear seat checkout in the back of a Harvard, and then I started doing some of the recurrent training for the other Harvard pilots at Aero Legends, and then it was onto the Spitfire. So maybe slightly different to other people that have done some training in the 2-seat, but that was the way we did it, and I felt very prepared, so I think it worked well.
Great. So just talk us through that first flight. How did you feel?
It was pretty surreal, I think, is the word. I mean, I'd started it up and done some engine run-ups, and we were doing hydraulic testing and things with the undercarriage. So I was kind of getting familiar with the cockpit, but starting it up and taxiing out, and then, power checks and just lining up on the runway and putting the power in. I mean, it's powerful and quick, and it just felt amazing, really, and just felt very privileged and very lucky to have the opportunity to do it. And immediately I thought, God, I'm doing this, with a fair amount of experience behind me, and just what people must have thought, in the 40s, teenagers that have just come out of Tiger Moths with 50, 60, 70, 80 hours, it must have just been like a spaceship, your cars are doing 40 miles an hour and you strap a Spitfire on and you do 400. Must have been quite scary.
Yeah.
So
and
hats off to them.
Yes. On that note, what was the last thing that Charlie Brown said to you before you closed the canopy?
I think he just said, enjoy yourself, and just, I think I felt pressure, but all self-induced pressure, like many things in aviation. He just said, fly it like an airplane and you'll be fine. And off I went.
Brilliant. Yeah. So just tell us, when are you flying it again?
I am flying it tomorrow morning. So that's my second go. Hopefully I'll feel a bit more comfortable, won't be hanging on as much on takeoff. So a bit more time just to settle in and, see how it handles, maybe some aerobatics. So we'll see.
Yeah, brilliant. Looks like we've got a question from a viewer. So how much time did you have on the Harvard at the stage of going solo on the Spit?
I suppose I have probably about 80 hours now, maybe 70 or 80 hours. I think, that, unless lucky to have had that with Aero Legends, their operation, a lot of the work I've done on the Harvard is really short 10, 15-minute flights alongside the Spitfire as a kind of package where they take pictures of family members. So it's lots of takeoffs and landings and stuff like that. And like I say, recently more in the back seat. So yeah, I suppose about 70 or 80 hours.
Marvelous. Great. Well, thanks again for your time, and happy flying tomorrow. I hope you enjoy your time in the Spitfire, and good luck in the future.
No problem. Thank you very much. And thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming on. Cheers, Michael.
Bye.
All right, got it right this time.
Wow.
What a fantastic story.
Yes.
Yeah. That's an amazing story, isn't it? Can you imagine sitting there the first time in your Spitfire?
Yeah, and how also, I know I've had the fortune to meet Charlie briefly, and he's just a really fantastic guy. And so to be taught to fly Spitfires and have Charlie send you solo must be brilliant. So
Well, I remember there was no, I'll come back to that story another time. Let's move on. It must be time for something else.
It must be time for Fantasy Hangar. Yeah, we have nothing for this. So, after seeing that Daya have introduced a new version of the Kodiak, we decided to pick our favourite Go Anywhere aircraft to join the Fantasy Hangar collection. And I think tonight, Johnny, you are first.
Yes. So I have gone for the awesome Helio Courier. Look at it. I mean, we don't talk about wheelbase in aviation, but look at the wheelbase there. It's enormous. It's a cracking STOL machine. It was used by the likes of the CIA. So if, they can pick good aircraft. The company actually started off as the Koppen-Bollinger Aircraft Corporation, which sounds awesome, before being renamed as Helio. And it's got great slow flight capability. It's got a minimum controllable speed of about 28 miles per hour. So it's perfect for off-airport operations, perfect for taking the family for a picnic on a sandbar somewhere. And 39-foot wingspan, so it's pretty big. Loaded weight of nearly 4,000 pounds, and it's got a range of just over 900 miles, carrying 5 people. And Helio themselves actually used to say, if it had claws, it could land on a fence post.
Nice.
They're quite rare, aren't they, Johnny?
They are. There's only, I think that was the only one in the UK. There's about 100 left from reading an Oshkosh post earlier today.
Why do you think they're that? Why do you think they're that rare?
The engine.
Are they not ticking the beauty box for you, Ian?
I would really like to fly a Helio Courier, but I just kind of figure that there's an awful lot of slightly Helio Courier shaped aluminium balls that have been rolled up in various places all over the world.
It's got looks to say I will harm you.
Yeah, and there's some of them were fitted with that kind of automatic crosswind landing gear stuff, weren't they?
Ooh, I'm not sure about that, but you might be right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I am. I think you could. Yeah. Yeah, but there's a turbine version as well, I believe.
Yeah, and a nose wheel one.
Yeah. So who's next?
That's got to be ugly, the nose wheel one. I think I'm next on this one, and I've got because we were looking for go anywhere rugged airplanes. I've got a bit of practical stuff along with the go anywhere. Good old Cessna 180, great gear, nice big tires. You can stick 4 people in it. A ton of fuel. You can go in and out of fields. It gets off of soft fields, gets off of short fields, gets into short fields. It's just a bloody great all-round bush airplane, and none of your fancy stuff. It's a Cessna. It can be repaired anywhere in the world. So there you go. You can stick it on floats. You can. That's my choice. Good old Cessna 180.
Very good.
There you go. Yeah, Dave.
So
you still there?
Choice. Yeah, I'm still here, yes. My choice is a Yak 18T. For me, it's just like the ultimate go-anywhere aircraft. It's tough, it's spacious, it's aerobatic, plus 6.4, minus 3.2. You can take the doors off and fly it. It's easy handling, short takeoff and landing, about 200 meters, and it's powerful. It's just a great aircraft. It's a great camera ship, and in the past we've used it for air-to-air photography, and it's been brilliant at it. I just love the aeroplane. I remember landing at Rosarrow in one once, and not realizing that Rosarrow, you go over a little hump, then it heads downhill very quickly. But I was sort of reassured by the fact that if it did end up as a ball of aluminium at the end, we'd probably be okay. But so anyway, the F-18T.
Yeah, quite tough. Probably runs on refined potatoes.
Vodka. Which leaves you, Ed.
That just leaves me, and I feel you've all made great choices, but you've kind of gone a bit small, and you haven't really thought too big. And I went, I'm going to think really big with this, and so I picked the Wilson Global Explorer. So I know you're all said, I just heard a few thuds of jaws hitting the floor, but so the Global Explorer was designed by Dean Wilson of avid flyer fame. This is back in 1991, and it was basically designed to be a go anywhere. It's kind of seaplane. I think you probably land it on snow as well if you want, and it's got gear as well. And it's basically go anywhere, take a huge amount of stuff. I think it's got something like I think you can put another. Just checking the specs on this. You can put 3,000 pounds of stuff in it. It's got a bed in the back. It's got space for more people. It's like a big aerial tour. What a brilliant go anywhere aeroplane.
How many did they build?
They built two of them. They had to build the first one to replace build the second one to replace the first one because it got stuck in some trees. And then I think the second one got stuck in some trees. So in terms of the go anywhere thing, it tends to go into the backcountry and stay there. So there are some problems there, but
you can go anywhere, but you can't come back.
That's it. Yeah. On the plus side, if you just sat there with the wreckage, there's an awful lot of wreckage to set fire to keep warm.
Have we got any winners in the comments? Have we got any suggestions?
Well, there's
yes,
apparently Paul Fraser Benison has decided that I win. Mark Greenfield is completely astounded by my choice by just using a three-letter acronym. Nigel Hitchman suggests the go to DHC2 Beaver is a good choice. Paul Wheel says Pilatus Porter. Mark Greenfield says Dave wins. Wow. Okay. Vince Chadwick says Aviat Husky. Adrian Norris says, Ian, you're not meant to win. You're meant to win on merit, not by dissing Johnny's choice.
I didn't diss his choice. I just pointed out that a few of them are broken.
Yeah. And Steve Middleton is beginning to doubt that I'm a pilot and said, is Ed actually a pilot or is he faking it? Yeah, I know sometimes my choices do bring that into question, Vince. And Keir Williams agrees. Keir's like, has Ed lost the plot?
Yes, Keir, he has. Yes.
So anyway, Keir says Ian or Dave win.
Right.
Michael Wolf says, I'm with Ed. Michael, thank you.
Michael, what's going on? The guy Dean Wilson, who built that twin Explorer. He also built a single Explorer, didn't he? Called the Private Explorer that we tested a gazillion years ago. Richard Boswell flew it out of Sun and Fun, if I remember rightly. Big old. I mean, he doesn't build pretty airplanes, does he?
Not really, no.
And the single
he's the king of functionality. If you might have noticed, if you'd got over admiring the Twin Explorer's extreme beauty, you would have noticed that the nose gear retracts and becomes the bumper, so that when you're a seaplane, you've got something to crash into the dock with. And he famously built the Avid Catalina, which was like the Avid Flyer seaplane. And builders had to go out and buy a beach ball, and that stuck in the nose. And he was nothing if not practical.
Wow. Practical means an airplane that you can use again, as opposed to the two that he built that you can't. I would say. Just a small point. Never mind. There you go. Michael, good to see you here. If I'd have known, I'd have had my Sportage t-shirt on. Anyway, right. Events.
We must be QS. Oh, is it events?
Events. We must have some events, surely.
Yes. The events are starting to come in, and Duxford has just confirmed a series of flying days through 2021. These flying days are not flying days for us particularly. They're just days when they'll be flying the aircraft that are on the airfield with a theme running through each one. And they've got 2 air shows, one in July, one in September. Events for us, they're starting to come in. Perth, which was going to be part of the LAA tour running at the end of May, they've had to cancel that, but they're having a fly-in on the 29th, which they've entitled Back to Flying, which just about works. It's a good pun.
and of course, there's the biggest event of the year. The biggest next event of the year will be Fly Alive on the 12th to the 16th of April. We've got loads of sponsors, loads of support from people, loads of great content coming on. We're going to be basically streaming for 2 hours every night from 7 till 9 from the 12th to the 16th of April. So be there for that. Loads of great stuff there. Lots of prizes to win and all sorts of good things.
Yep.
Which brings us to QSY.
Yeah, well, Nigel Hitchman very quickly says, don't forget the Shuttleworth Air Shows starting May the 2nd.
No, we have mentioned those before, so when aside. So the 2nd of May, yes, and also a bit later in the month, they've got the Spies and Intrigue Air Show. Shuttleworth have done it very cleverly. They've got this driving thing where you drive into a box and you enjoy the show from your car.
It's social distancing sorted.
That's
right.
A bit like long stay parking at Heathrow, isn't it?
Yeah, but with much better stuff to watch.
Yeah,
sure, fair enough. Fair enough. And we should probably mention that Sun and Fun's going ahead, I believe.
Yes.
So far, so good. Yeah.
So far, so good. So good luck to them. It won't be a patch on Fly Alive, clearly, but good luck to them. So QSY, we get.
I think
QSY.
we've got some club stuff before then, haven't we?
Oh man, what answer? Johnny, bring us some club stuff.
So I hope some of you, or most of you, managed to get flying back in the air this week. We want to see your photos for the next magazine, so send them to us, email, tag us on social media, direct message us, however you want to send them in, just get them through to us. And as it's now April, we've got new landing fees live on the club section of the website. So head over there to print them off. And we've also published some new Joe Fournier safety analysis written content on the club area of the website. So head over there and read through that this weekend. It's really interesting stuff. And as usual, if you're not a member, then you can join for just $7.50 per quarter and make use of all the great benefits, especially, I got it right this week, especially the free landing vouchers, which will pay for themselves in no time once you start using them. So just head to flyer.co.uk and hit the club tab at the top of the bar and join the club.
Excellent. So has anyone got anything else before we go to QSY then?
No, we can frequency change.
We can. Okay, we were having a quick look, and we decided to, given it was 1st of April, we'd have a look and see what aviation-related April Fool's stuff has been out. So we each had a look at those, picked some, and here we go. Ed.
Well, this was mine. I spotted. It's a local skip company. They just happen to operate a hot air balloon, and I'm pretty sure this must be April Fool, unless it's a bit like the drone companies. And it's actually okay to deliver a skip using a hot air balloon. But they've got a video out where they deliver a skip to a house and then pull the burner and then fly away. I'm not sure if it's a real skip. It looked like it might be a bit light, but who knows? I quite like that idea.
That could be one of those polystyrene skips, couldn't it?
Yes.
Dave.
Okay, so I didn't choose this, actually. This was handed to me because my choice wasn't acceptable. But this is the Ryanair Antonov. Ryanair has decided that this summer is going to be very busy with people flying abroad, and it simply hasn't got enough aeroplanes. Remember, it couldn't get its 737 Maxes. Anyway, so it's decided to press into service some Antonov AN 225s and Brandon Ryanair, and it's going to squeeze lots and lots of passengers flying out to holiday hotspots.
Wow. Well, you can definitely socially distance in an Antonov 225.
Yeah.
but not in the cattle market before you get on the aeroplane.
No, that's true.
They'll be crying over in Dublin about the fuel burn at Ryanair HQ, I'm sure.
Yeah. Johnny.
Johnny.
Right, yeah. So I've gone with Wiltshire Air Ambulance and their new Sikorsky Sky Crane. Now,
Literally,
this is totally believable, and I think it's like an operational mitigation, because when you're on a job and you're taking a patient to hospital and you suddenly come across a drone TDA, you can just land, release your ambulance to carry on with the journey for the rest of the way. So,
given that's the Wiltshire Air Ambulance, and given that I'm a Wiltshire resident, I would suggest that it should be a tractor and not an ambulance.
That's it. Now, before Ian, you go with yours, Steve Middleton has preempted you, and he said, "I'd like to thank Ian for his Sky Demon tips. A game changer for Nav from now on."
Absolutely. So, I made a little video that's clearly not an April Fool's thing. There you go. There's a little screen grab from that video. You can pop over to our YouTube channel and see it there for yourself if you want some power tips for Sky Demon. In fact, it works. The power tips work with pretty much any software, but it's just, it's a great place for us traditionalists to fly. Remember, north up is the only true way.
That's it. And take your China ground.
Yeah. I think that's the only time I've seen you draw a straight line on a chart, Ian.
What do you mean, Dave? Good. Well, thank you very much, everyone. Enjoy your weekend. 4 great days have just arrived. Have a great flying weekend. Enjoy the weather. Don't get too cold on Monday. And we look forward to seeing you next Thursday with your ideas. Thank you very much. Have a good one. Cheers.
Thank you all.
Cheers.
Thanks all.
Bye-bye.